Your past doesn't define you, how you face it does. Imagine this. You're living in peace. You've moved on from old wounds, past mistakes, from those years you're not proud of. And then one day, someone, maybe someone you once trusted, loved, or shared everything with, reaches into your past and pulls it out, like a knife. They twist it, reminding you of pain you thought had long healed. And with a voice that's half pity and half contempt, they say, "You remember that, right? That's who you were." Suddenly, your chest tightens, not because the past has returned, but because someone is using it against you. That feeling is betrayal all over again. Most of us react by getting angry, defensive. We start explaining ourselves, trying to prove we've changed. But in doing so, we fall into their trap. We hand over control of our emotions. The Stoic, however, doesn't do that. The Stoic remains calm. Today, I'll share with you 3 Stoic responses to use when someone brings up your past to hurt you. Not with anger, but with unshakable composure. First response: yes, that happened. The ego's instinct is denial. We want to erase the past, forget it ever existed. But in Stoic philosophy, acceptance is liberation. When someone says, "You failed at that company," or "You were betrayed because of how you acted," don't flinch, don't defend, don't explain. Just say, "Yes, that happened." No shame, no guilt, no excuses. This simple line holds immense power, because it takes away the one thing they're after: your reaction. People who use your past against you don't seek truth. They seek control. They want to watch you squirm. But when you calmly own your story, their weapon loses its edge. You disarm them instantly. Once you're no longer ashamed of who you were, no one can use it against who you are. As Seneca once wrote, "There is nothing more noble than standing before your own faults and saying, 'Yes, I did that, and I learned from it.' In that moment, you reclaim your story." Second response: "I've learned from it." This is the sentence that turns past into power. It transforms "I was wrong" into "I've grown." Those who bring up your past only see the person you used to be. But you've evolved. Like a sword forged in fire, you've become sharper with every break. The cracks in your life, they aren't flaws. They're where the light gets in. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison and still said, "I do not hate them. I learned that true freedom begins within." So when someone says, "You failed in your marriage, what do you know about love?" you answer, "Because I've been broken, I now understand what love truly is." That's not defensiveness. That's wisdom. As Marcus Aurelius said, every obstacle is an opportunity to practice virtue. When others try to stain you with your past, use that very past to show your strength. That's transformation, turning pain into wisdom and scars into symbols of growth. Third response: why are you bringing this up now? This question disarms every manipulator. No anger, no sarcasm, just genuine curiosity. And that calmness, it terrifies them. You flip the roles, from being attacked to observing the attack. They wanted to control your emotions. Now, they're forced to confront their own motives. You hold up a mirror. If they were sincere, your question makes them reflect. If not, they crumble under exposure. As Epictetus said, the one who harms others is already in pain. They bring up your past because they can't face their present. When you calmly ask, "Why now?" you regain control without raising your voice. Your composure becomes armor. Your silence, a wall of steel. The power of silence and self-control. The Stoic knows silence is not weakness, it's power. Every impulsive reaction you give becomes a gift handed to the person trying to provoke you. Seneca wisely said, "The one who angers you conquers you." You might lose the argument, but you win your peace. In a world full of shouting, the silent one holds the most control. Someone once told me, You never react. That scares people. I smiled and said, I don't want to be feared. I just want peace within myself. Understand this. No one can drag you into the mud unless you step down willingly. And if someone thinks wrongly of you, ask yourself, does their opinion change who you truly are? As Epictetus asked, if someone calls you a donkey, do you check the mirror? Of course not, because you know who you are. That's real freedom, knowing yourself and not needing anyone's approval. If they bring up your mistakes, smile. If they twist your past, stay silent. If they want a reaction, let them see your calm. You owe no explanation for chapters you've already healed from. As Marcus Aurelius said, when someone acts wrongly, it is because they do not know what is right. Teach them through your behavior, not your words. Maturity is the most powerful response. Use your present to reflect who you are, not who they think you were. We all have versions of ourselves we're not proud of, but without them, we wouldn't be who we are. That naive, flawed, or weak version of you, it taught you strength, patience, resilience. A man once addicted can now help others find freedom. Someone who failed in business can mentor others to succeed. One who was betrayed can now teach forgiveness. That is transformation. The Stoic doesn't erase the past, they elevate it. Yes, people will try to use your past to pull you down. Not because you are weak, but because your growth reminds them of what they could have become. When you rise, you become a mirror. Not everyone is ready to face their own reflection. They don't attack you because you're broken. They attack because you've healed. Because your peace threatens their chaos. So remember 3 things. Acknowledge your past without shame. Turn every mistake into a lesson. Not a life sentence. Ask questions instead of reacting. Let your calm reflect their insecurity. That's how a Stoic wins. Not through noise or defense, but through dignity. You don't need to fight to prove you've changed. Those who truly see you won't need an explanation. And those who refuse, no explanation will ever be enough. One day, someone will bring up your past again. And you'll smile, not in pride, not in pain, but in peace. Because you'll know, I am not what happened to me. I am how I chose to rise from it. That is true freedom. Not forgetting your past, but being at peace even when you remember it. So when someone tries to drag you back into an old chapter, smile and say, thank you, but I've already finished that part of the story. Then walk away, calm, steady, untouchable, like a true Stoic.